the only time you should hinge cut. There's a time and place in which you should or shouldn't. A lot of you are just going out there and cutting the cut. Don't do that anymore. Before we get into that though, it's time to do the giveaway. We've been running this giveaway for a little while now. We're going to give away a trail camera. One of my favorites. Worked well for me in the past. Got a 5-year warranty. No complaints when it comes to using this trail camera. And finally, one of you has won. And here's the thing, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, if you're not liking and commenting on our videos, that's how you win these. The diehard guys who are leaving good comments, not like cool or just like clicking the video for a second. We can see all that stuff, guys. You know, just to comment and stuff like that. Make sure that basically you're liking, commenting on our videos, and you're subscribed to the channel, and you are entered to win giveaways. We're always gonna be doing giveaways. We appreciate you guys as subscribers. And here's the thing that I've wanted to say a handful of times, not to prolong this, but the comments on our channel are awesome. You don't get these bozos who are just saying stupid stuff. I mean, occasionally you do. And quite frankly, I don't really take it too serious anyway, because if you're willing to take time out of your day to just insult me on YouTube, you got bigger issues. But I appreciate all of you, because you guys have like legitimate conversations sometimes in these comments, and that's super cool to see that we're creating this little community. And some of you I'll probably never get to meet. Some of you I'll meet on client visits, and some of you, who knows, maybe we'll run into down the road. But I just want to let you know, I really do thank all of you up to this point. This channel has done great, and we've only been doing this for like a year finally, and it has exploded. So enough of the sappy stuff. One of you on a trail camera. Who is it? Simple C Tony. Is that right?
It's actually Slimpic Tony.
Slimpic.
That's my fault.
Yeah, that's Scotty Too Hotty's fault over there. But Simple what?
It's Slimpic Tony.
Slimpic Tony. You did it, man. Sorry, I got your username wrong. Probably comment on this. Let us know that you actually watched the video so that you can win. And if you didn't, you got to get back to me in a reasonable amount of time. We're going to give it away again. Otherwise, head over to hopefully our social media. Actually, you know what you can do otherwise too is send me an email at whitetaillandmanagement@gmail.com. We'll get you lined up. Honestly, they're a little bit behind on their cameras right now because they just created some new ones. So I don't even have the camera yet, but I'll get it to you ASAP so that you got it and you got a new camera. So congrats, buddy. With that being said, there's a time and a place in which you should hinge cut on your property, and no, so you're screwing it up. Hinge cutting, I'm just going to get into it. We've already stretched this video out long enough. I'm not going to beat around the bush too much here. Hinge cutting should be used in only a couple scenarios. Okay, the first scenario is you don't have valuable timber on your property. How do you know if you have valuable timber on your property? One, you can bring in a forester, which is fine. Don't love solely working with a forester because they're just going to tell you what you have as far as timber goes. They're not going to look at your property from a strategic standpoint as far as deer hunting goes. I'm not trying to talk people into, so basically I've had scenarios where people are like, I don't think I'm going to have you out because I'm going to have a forester come out. And I'm not even trying to talk those people into having me or anybody else out. We're booked up already, so it doesn't matter. But that forester isn't going, and it's hard because people think I'm just trying to plug my business and get in there and make some money. But in reality, the foresters don't look at it from a habitat standpoint a lot of times. They look at it from a forestry standpoint. So if you don't realize what you're cutting, you could be screwing yourself out of tens of thousands of dollars, and we've seen it done. I've seen people literally lose tens of thousands of dollars and more because they just went out and hinge cut because they saw it in a cool YouTube video. So make sure you know what you got. So that is a time in which you should never hinge cut. If you have valuable timber, let somebody come in and log it strategically. It's in strategic locations, remove it, select cut it, come back in another 5 to 7 years, put more money in your pocket in 2 different swaths. There's a whole nother thing, but don't be hinge cutting if you don't know what you're cutting into and if you have quality timber on your property. Strategically talking, there's a time in which I do like to hinge cut, and it is to create tornado zones to block deer or neighbors off or funnel deer into certain locations. I'm thinking about a food plotting location that I have right now, and these deer could come out behind my blind, but I'm trying to get them to come out in front. So therefore I hinge cut an entire wall that they cannot jump into the field there. They got to go up and around and in front of me to get into the field. That is a time in which we should use hinge cutting in these tornado zones. Another time I like to use it is to create some sort of screening. My good buddy Caden has done this with his property up to the back of one of his blinds. It's a tunnel almost that you can walk right to the back of that blind, and other than sneaking up into that blind, you're bulletproof. Like getting up the last 10 feet can be a little sketchy looking out into that field, but that is a time in which you should be using hinge cutting. To create bedding areas, I don't love doing it as a whole, but sometimes I do, and I'm gonna tell you what that scenario is as well. Let's say we went in, we had some timber stand improvement done, somebody did some logging, I don't do probably clear cutting in most scenarios, but did have some logging done, they did some select cutting. Sometimes I like to use a handful of hinge cuts to create the nest inside the bed, inside of the bedroom or the bedding area. What do I mean? Sometimes I will give that backdrop or that back wall to give that deer some sense of security, that nest with, I'll say 3 to 8 hinge cuts surrounding that bed, strategically place that bed. And I've seen guys do it where it's a little goofy maybe to some of you, but they'll place a log that the deer can lean up against and all these other things. And if you put your trail camera on these beds that you've created or these nests, trail camera is going to go off one day and you're going to hunt the correlating food source or transition area, and that hunt's going to be super easy, or in theory should be super easy, because you know where that deer is. So that's when I would look to use hinge cutting, guys. Hinge cutting is a sketchy one. You've heard me say it a billion times. Know what you're cutting if you're going to do it. If you don't have any other options, sure, then let's create the bedding areas using that. But there's a lot of maintenance that goes into hinge cutting that people don't realize exists. It can just be an all-around disaster if you're not doing it the right way. So if you like these tips, you like these videos, you like the hunting content, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to win the giveaway, be cool like my man Tony, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time.